Hello everyone, it's Uriel again. Today I'm going to be doing a redraw of my old tea break doodles. I went on Instagram and showed 3 different doodles that I did. One was like a vampire, one was like a action girl, and one was this elf character. I think that the elf was from when I was playing Dungeons and Dragons quite a lot at work. She's got like a mace that's shaped like a dragon head, and she's in sort of non-armor clothing. So I decided that I was going to give her some armor so she looks a bit more like a warrior. I'm using a vermilion Colorase Prismacolor pencil to do my initial sketches. This initial sketch is in my Strathmore drawing sketchbook. It was one of the budget ones with the yellow cover. I decided that I was going to do the initial sketch in a sketchbook and then trace it onto marker paper, just because the last few times I've tried to use the marker paper, you could still see the pencil marks on the wrong side of the paper from the sketch. So I decided, and I've been trying to like erase it, but the erasers just sort of catch the paper and you end up with creases and stuff through it. So that's why I've decided that I'm going to do it in a sketchbook and then trace it through onto the marker paper afterwards. Plus, doing it that way, you can still get it the right way around, because if you're drawing on the wrong side of the marker paper, when you flip it, the sketch is the wrong way around. Not that that makes much difference, really, but, you know, I feel that it does to me, so that's why I've done it this way around. The blue is a Pilot Colour Eno in blue. I usually use the red, but I've got, like, I went out and, or I ordered some of the Colorase pencils, but they just sort of sit in my drawer and I'm just trying to use them up, because I don't like to sharpen pencils. I like to use a mechanical pencil if possible, and so I'm trying to sort of save the world as well, if that makes any sense whatsoever. The costumes had a bit of a redesign. I tried to keep it as close as I could to the original, but I just wanted her to have like armor and chainmail and stuff on. She was just screaming to have that, and for some reason I didn't do it in the original sketch. But I don't think I was thinking much when it came to the original sketch. It was while I was working, and it was just like a doodle that didn't really take much concentration to do. I kept the pose very similar, apart from the fact that instead of holding her mace down, she's holding it across her front. That's because I wanted to keep it central in the picture, because I intended on cropping the pose. I didn't want to put the legs in, so it was just to get a bit more of a close-up look at the character rather than a full body drawing, because I'm sure like most people who draw characters and stuff, if they draw a character that's a full-length character, they tend to have to be a bit further away, so you lose a bit of the detail. So at least with doing it as close-up like I did, you get to see the actual character details, the facial features, and just like little details on their outfits and stuff. This is me doing the line art on a piece of the marker paper, which is the Canson XL marker paper with the purple front. It's become like my go-to. I used to use the Strathmore Tone Tanned for anything that I was doing, but when I went to America last year, back in June, I went into Michael's and I just thought I'm just going to buy loads of different papers, and it was quite nice to just draw on white again for a change, because the turn tan, everything sort of is on the turn tan, and you don't ever get to sort of draw on white again. So I bought, like, everything that I bought was white apart from one more turn tan, just because the sketchbooks over in America are absolutely, they're absolutely so much cheaper. I couldn't get over it. The liner that I'm using is the it came in one of the scroller boxes in a set. It's the Chameleon Change Colour Liner pen, and this is in the cool grey. I'm quite enjoying doing different coloured line work instead of doing the bog standard black, and it gives the picture a bit more of a soft look when you're doing it with a colour instead of just the black, because the black's so harsh against the white. And you can see, like, there's a little pile of all my grey liners. I was convinced I wanted to do it in a grey, and so I gave them all a little test just to see, and the Chameleon one was actually the palest, so I went for that. And I thought, because I can go pale and then I can always go darker if I want. Because the reference sketch Doodle was just a black biro on a white piece of paper, I decided that I went on my Instagram again and gave my followers a chance to choose the colour scheme for the character. I went onto Jazz's Arty Party app and just got, like, a bunch of, like, 3 marker challenge colour schemes and put them on, and this was what won. It was like sort of 3 purpley tones and dark brown. So I went and looked in my Copic markers and just chose as close as I could to the colour scheme that was chosen, and got little blending families. So that's why there are, like, 18 markers rather than, like, the 4 that I originally started with. And I did sort of, it's not intended to be a 3 marker challenge in the slightest. It was just purely to try and get some sort of colour scheme together that people liked the look of. It's, and plus I added some extras as well. For the armour, I used the reddy brown colour that was part of the colour scheme. But for the chainmail parts, I chose, like, a cooler pinky brown colour for the chainmail, and in the background there's going to be, like, a big contrasting yellow circle, so that sort of contrasts all the purple that's in the character. But yeah, it was never intended to be like a 4 marker challenge or a 3 marker challenge or whatever. It was always supposed to just be to pick out to just give it just to sort of find a colour scheme that would work. And so and it, both of the votes, the winning colour scheme and the winning character, were won by landslides. People really wanted to see these ones. I'm actually really pleased with how it's all come out. Actually, the colour scheme, I was when I saw that there was all these purple colours and purple tones, and I was just like, oh no, because I'm not a massive purple fan, and when I saw that people had won and people had voted for this purple colour scheme, and I was just like, oh no, I really, really don't want to try and use so much purple in the piece, and I haven't done. I mean, it's got to the point where it was basically just the hair and the skin and like the handle for the mace. They all became the purple parts, and the vast majority of it was more of brown earth tones, which I was quite happy with. I was almost going to do all the armor in a grayscale sort of theme and just use the brown as like highlights for like what would be leather. So I decided that rather than doing that, I tried to give her like a leather look on her armor, so that she was like, because that's one of the like armor classes in Dungeons and Dragons, is that you can have a leather armor, and so that's where I went with it. I didn't want to bring in a whole new color scheme because the armor and the clothing was such a massive part of the character that it wouldn't really be part of the color scheme if I added grayscale to make it look like silver armor or metal armor. I struggled a little bit deciding on what colour her tunic would be. Initially, when I was doing like thumbnails to choose what I was going to do for the tunic, I coloured it in purple, and then I thought, well, actually, it's too close to the skin tone of the character to be able to use it as purple, unless I went full on, royal purple. So I decided to try and keep it white and just try and keep it looking so that it was just a contrast, because everything seemed to be a mid-tone in my piece. So it was just, if I try and keep it white, at least that's like a lighter tone for the picture altogether. My favourite part of the piece is the dragon head on the mace. It's not often that I get to do like a dragon or a creature. I tend to try and it's not because I try to. It's my go-to is that I do a character, and it sort of inspired me to do more like creature drawings. The mace itself, I don't remember why it had to be a dragon head, but I knew that it was such an important part of the picture that I decided that it had to remain as a dragon. here I'm doing, I always, in my character designs, I always do some sort of like shape in the background, and it's generally a circle. I decided that I was going to do like a bright yellow to complement the purples that are in the piece, and I think it worked out quite well. I tried a gradient as well, but the original pale yellow that I used up at the top didn't really blend with the bright yellow, so I ended up having to put an extra step in between, and plus I put like an orangey yellow towards the bottom to sort of cause the gradient a bit more. I really quite like doing the circles around them, and I always think that it just makes the character pop. Once I'd done the background in the yellow, I decided that there was some points in the line work that weren't dark enough, and it sort of muddied the contrast with the background. So I just decided that I was going to go over with the Pentel pocket brush in grey. It's a darker grey. It is almost black, but when you do put it against a black, it is definitely grey. And just to pick out just certain little points where there'd be an extra bit of shadow, or the two tones are so similar that it doesn't register properly when you're looking at it from a distance. So just the hair, I really liked how it came out in the hair. The darker areas got the darker line, and the lighter areas that were sort of the highlights, they kept the light grey line. And I've done it in another picture since, and I think it's going to be like my go-to thing to do for hair now. Just using an extra fine Posca in white just to pick out highlights and some of the details in the armour and the eye shines and stuff like that. And Derwent Colour Soft in white to pick out softer highlights. Just going to give it a signature. And here's the overview. I really hope that you all liked this video. I really enjoyed doing this piece. Here's a comparison side by side of the original and the redraw. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and check out my Instagram and Twitter at uriel.illustrations. Thank you all for watching. See you next Sunday.